Welcome to the Bad Mom Show, where we flip the script on shame, shed light on what's made you feel invisible, and take your story back. It is time to step into that bold, baddie mom you were created to be. Around here, BAD stands for blessed, already approved of, and divinely designed, because you are not a bad mom. You are a leader. You were chosen for your family on purpose. You are divinely designed and anointed as the heart of your home, and you can confidently own your mantle of leadership as a fiery woman to lead with boldness, not burnout. This is your space to reclaim the parts of your story that have felt like weaknesses and discover they were actually your superpowers all along. It is time to shine as a BAD mom. Are you with me? Let's go. Welcome back to the Bad Mom Show, where we flip the script on shame and take our stories back. It is a new year, my friend. Happy New Year. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. 2025 is done. I hope you had amazing holidays. We had the best time with our family, and now we're kind of, getting back into the swing of things here. It is a new year. So I'm excited. I'm excited for this first podcast episode of the new year. And I've got a good message for you today. It's a little activation for you to work on as we step into this new year. But before that, I just want to check in and see how I'm finding you. The holidays are very joyous, but they can also bring up a lot of other emotions too. For some people, it's not the easiest time of year. It can actually bring a lot of sadness. Family time could be tense and difficult versus joyful and fun. So I just wanted to kind of like take the pulse, see where I find you right now. Are you feeling sad that Christmas is over? I know I am a little bit. I love Christmas. I love all the decorations, and it kind of feels sad to take them all down, even though it's at the same time kind of nice to get things back in order. It feels a little sad to me. I get sad that my family has to leave. We don't live together. We don't live close by each other. So it is such a gift when they come to visit and we have such fun moments together. And then it's really sad when they leave. The kids are going back to school. That probably makes a lot of us out there feel happy, but at the same time, I feel a little sad. Like I love this downtime with my kids. I love not being scheduled and everyone just being together and playing games and all that fun stuff. So maybe you're feeling happy. You're glad that the holidays are done. You can get your things back in order. You get everybody back on a routine. Get your personal time back. I get it. Maybe you feel excited for this start of this new year. It's a fresh start. There is something very energizing about that. Maybe you're really feeling charged up and ready to go. You want to tackle those goals and you've got your list ready to go. Or maybe you feel a little anxious because the new year has begun. We're a few days in and you're already feeling behind because the Christmas decorations aren't all put away, or you haven't made resolutions yet, or, you're thinking about resolutions and you have the same ones that you had last year and maybe the year before too. And so it already kind of feels like discouraging, almost like you're already behind, right? So you're already doubting yourself. However, I find you, I just want you to notice. It brings things up in you physically, right? Where are you feeling that even in your body? What does that message say to you? What is that attached to? Because I believe that if we don't slow down and notice those things, we will just plow right into this new year and find ourselves saying in 12 months, oh my gosh, where did that whole year go? Because that's how I felt in 2025. I was like, wow, that year just went by super fast. And I don't want us to do that. I don't want us to plow into a new year with anxiousness and this long to-do list of ways that we need to change and or be better. It already implies that there's something about you that's not enough, just as you are. And yes, it is so good to have goals. I love goals, but goals do come with pressure. And if they feel pressured, that's storied for you. That comes from a place in you that is used to striving for perfection, maybe, or is used to performing and getting your sense of worth from what you do versus who you are. Um, you know, setting new goals, wanting new habits, all of us do it. And there is a part of us that is meant to grow, and that's a good thing. But we really just have to check where that motivation is really coming from. So before we go planning new versions of ourselves for 2026 and letting fear and control and stress sit in the driver's seat one more day, I want us to do this activity together. It's something that I have not done in years past, really, not to this extent anyway. But I found it to be really powerful for myself. And I think it's something that you're going to really enjoy doing today, too. And I hope it's something that you will build into your year regularly, not just at the beginning of a new year, but it's something that I intend to do more regularly because even on a daily basis, this helps. So, what is it? Well, we are going to, before we can look forward, we've got to look back and do some reflection. We are going to do some reflection. If we don't look back, we can't move forward differently. You just can't. Because if you don't look back, you don't notice your own growth and you don't see where God showed up in your story, even in the tough things. So the Bible says in Psalm 100, verse 4, that we enter his gates with thanksgiving, we enter his courts with praise, to give him thanks and praise his name. So that's in everything. And it truly is this before we enter this new year, why don't we look back and give God some thanks, to practice some gratitude for all the ways that he truly did show up in your life in 2025, ways that maybe you had prayed for, maybe ways that you completely unexpected ways that you weren't even looking for. There are so many ways, big and small, that he showed up for me and that he's shown up for you. And there is so much power in reflecting and exercising gratitude before we set new goals for growth. You can't grow if you don't know where you've been. You can't grow if you don't recognize the growth that's already happened. You get it, right? You feeling this? This is how I feel. So I don't want us to forget him in the details. And the cool thing is, the more that you do this, the more regularly it will happen for you. And it's a fact that when your brain is focused on good things and gratitude and giving thanks, you can't be angry or miserable or living in doubt and discouragement. Your brain can't do both. So you're actually creating new wiring in your brain, which is, that is really how you grow, is we have to recognize the story and then rewire those old patterns that we are so used to and accustomed to when we're in autopilot, when we don't take time, slow down, and look back. So that's what we're going to do today. I'm excited. Yeah. Okay. We're going to let gratitude guide your goals with wisdom. It tunes your ear to hear God more clearly, and it helps you notice him in everything, not just like big goals, but everything. And like I just said, it keeps you out of doubt and worry. So let's just jump into it, shall we? I've got some questions, some activation questions for you. So if you're driving, maybe just think on these things as you're driving, but then I do want you to carve out some time, it doesn't have to be a ton of time, and just write these down, because there's so much power in actually recording it. And then it's something that you can return to and look back at and be like, oh, yeah, wow. Even in just thinking it, it's going to be powerful. But I do want you to actually write it down. I did this exercise for myself. And it was really powerful to recognize all the ways that God showed up in my life in 2025. And thinking back to who I was in January of 2025, it's like, wow, okay, I did grow a lot. So I know this is going to be powerful to you too. All right, so before we start, just take a deep breath, right? There is no right way to do this. This is just honest conversation with yourself and with God. So just, whatever you need to do to settle yourself in. And then we're just going to invite God, Lord, just help me see this past year the way that you see it. Help me see your hands upon my life and help me notice details that maybe I'm not even thinking of right now. Bring them to light. Let me recognize you in the big and the small. Okay. So here come your questions. First one is, where did you see God show up for you this past year? Not just the big ways, but in the small or even unexpected ways too. I know for myself, I have some very big ways that he showed up and a big, I don't know if it was a goal, but I kind of set a word for the year when in January of 2025, and it was belief. I knew I needed to build more belief in myself, in my calling, but it truly was rooted in my belief that God was not just I believed in him, but like that he was for me. I have seen him move in people's lives in ways that I've been like, man, I want him to do that for me too. But I didn't, there was a worth thing. I wasn't totally rooted in my identity enough to believe that God believed in me and that he wanted to partner with me and show up not just in big ways, but yes, I had big goals, but also in small ways, like in personal ways. And it truly was a journey over the entire year, but it truly grew in such an incredible way. So just recognize those things. What prayers were answered that maybe you've overlooked? We were just talking about this today about maybe starting like a prayer wall with our kids because it's good to see your prayers, but also then to recognize when they've been answered. But even if you don't do that, just think back. I'm sure you have some prayers that you were holding up. Maybe there were big ones that he answered, or ones that maybe he didn't answer the way you wanted him to, but he answered. What did God protect me from, even if it didn't feel like a blessing at the time? So that could be things that felt like a failure, could feel like a disappointment, felt really discouraging at the time. But now looking back, you see, oh, wow, had that turned out the way I wanted it to, that would not have been good. I know we all have moments like that from our lives.
Hey, friend. Thank you so much for being here and following the Bad Mom Show. I would love to hear from you, so let's connect. After the show, send me a DM and let me know what's hitting home for you. What do you struggle with the most as a mom? And what topics would you like to hear more about? This show is all about connection in the community because that is how we truly grow. So reach out to me at the Teresa Todd on Instagram, Facebook, or even TikTok, and I cannot wait to hear from you.
Okay. The next question is, where did I grow emotionally or spiritually? Man, this is such a good one. There's so many ways. I mean, especially in motherhood, I know we all have, just a desire to be a better version of ourselves, not just for ourselves, but for our children too. But growing in your spirituality and growing emotionally is going to come with some trials and challenges, and motherhood will bring those for sure. But how and where did you grow emotionally or spiritually? Did you spend more time? Did you like prioritize quiet time with God this year? Maybe not every day, but you did it more regularly. Um, just reflect on those things. And then who did God use to support, encourage, or even refine you? I know for myself, I could not have taken the steps of faith that I did this year without the circle of women that God brought around me through friendship, through mentorship. I know I was refined greatly by doing my own story work, my children, my marriage. I mean, all of that will refine you if you're willing, right? You got to go through the fire. But yes, he sent you people. So who are those people? Thank him for those people that he's brought into your life. When did you feel God, his nearness most strongly? And that might surprise you because sometimes it's in like the hardest, worst moments. That is when you feel God more closely than you've ever felt him before. And then what are some moments that brought you unexpected joy? I mean, there's lots of that, right? It could be on a daily basis if we really get down to it. But let's honor the hard parts too, because we know gratitude is not just for the good things. Gratitude is, Lord, I don't know how this is going to turn out, but I trust you and I believe in you and I thank you that you are a good God. You are a God of provision and that you can do above and beyond my wildest dreams, that you are for me, not against me, and that I know you will work all this together for my good. So we're going to thank him for the hard parts too. So, what was one of the hardest seasons or moments of 2025 for you? Maybe you're still in it and you're like, man, when is this going to end? Where has God been in it with you? Where do you feel and see and sense his presence with you in those hard moments? How did that stretch you? I mean, gosh, for me, I mean, I'm so happy that I really took some big leaps of faith and I stepped out professionally. I started sharing my story on stages. I started this podcast. I couldn't do any of that without the people that God sent me, without belief, without the guidance that he gave me, but it stretched me. Oh my gosh, so much. And then hosting my first live event this past month in December, that was extremely stretching. I had so much doubt and fear and worry, but I continued to lean on God through it and trusting him and praying with him and speaking life over every detail of it and myself and he grew me through that. It was an incredible event and the experience and the feedback from the women is incredible, but it was so stretching and it grew me personally in ways that I could not step into the next whatever he has for me if I had not done that very hard stretching thing. So acknowledge and thank him for the ways that you were stretched in this past year, in those hard times. What did you learn about yourself in the struggle? And how has it shaped who you are today? Give yourself some credit, right? And then this is a good one. What pain am I still carrying that God's maybe inviting you to surrender or maybe to go deeper in your work in that area with Him? This is, this is sort of the depth of story work, really. There's always another layer. It's not like a one and done, but He will continue to reveal new things. The more time you spend with Him, the more willing you are to look back and reflect and grow, not just in it, but through it with Him. And then I want you to take a few minutes and answer these questions that acknowledge you and your growth because we don't give ourselves enough credit. I know it. I don't either. So these questions will help you like really recognize, man, you really showed up. You did hard things. You were humbled, you were humbled and in ways that maybe you didn't want to, but you did it anyway, and it grew something in you. It shifted you. So how are you different today than you were at the beginning of the year? Jot it down. What cycles or patterns or even reactions do you respond differently to now, or do you respond to differently now? Sorry. What cycles, patterns, or reactions do you respond to differently now? So this might be in how you communicate with your children. Maybe you've really softened, and instead of being so reactive, you're more responsive. Maybe in your marriage or even in just how you speak to yourself, right? We tend to be really hard on ourselves. What would the version of me from a year ago thank me for? Ooh, I love this one. That you could even just take that one and you could literally write yourself a letter as if it was you from last year talking to you now. What would you, 2025 you, thank you today for? And then this last one here, what are you proud of that you have not let yourself celebrate? We don't celebrate ourselves enough. And then we don't let other people celebrate us either. But it's so important to take a moment and celebrate yourself. So, what are you proud of? And it doesn't even have to be really big. I'm really proud of myself. I got things hung on the walls this year. And I didn't get it all hung up, But I did finally get some family pictures hung up on the walls. We've been in our home for a little over a year and a half now. And yeah, that has been a goal of mine and it wasn't happening. I'm like, so I still need to get more done, but it felt really good to check that box. Just that was important to me. So yeah, little things too. And after you've done all this, I want you now to ask God some questions. You ready? All right. First one is God, what do you want me to remember from this past year? And just write down the first thing that comes to your mind. Don't overthink it. That is how God speaks. It's the first thing that comes to your mind. Maybe it's a picture, maybe it's a word. Just write it down. And then I want you to ask, what do you want me to release before stepping into this new year? And again, it might just be a word or an image or a sensation, even in your body, of something that He's tapping on, saying, hey, are you ready to release this? Are you ready to let this go? And then the last one is, God, where are you inviting me to trust you more? Building belief had a lot to do with my trust and and also releasing the idea that I had to have everything in control, that it was all up to me to do everything, to have everything figured out. He's the one that's in control, right? We know this, but like to really embody it and to build that trust requires a lot of you releasing the control and saying, Lord, it's in your hands. I trust you over myself. He's the orchestrator, He's the master plan. So, where are you inviting me to trust you more? Okay. After all of those questions, I want you to finish this sentence. God, thank you for forming me into a woman who is becoming more blank. What would you thank God that He's forming in you? That you can sense He is forming you to become more, whatever it is, write it down. Is it more, I don't know, more grounded, more open, more peaceful, more joyful, more trusting, more playful? And I guess on the converse, you could say, what are you asking me to be less of or release? That would go with the release thing. What is He asking you to release and let go of and leave behind, to surrender? Who is He forming you into? Okay. And after you've done all these things, sorry, I just lost my place. Before you make new goals, I want you to answer this final question. I had one more for you. That's why I got a little confused there. Okay, you ready? Final question. What do I want to carry into this new year? Not just something to do, because we're really good at giving ourselves new to-do lists, but to be. That is a choice. And I believe we get to choose. Do we want to continue living, whether it's in stress or striving mode, perfectionism, performance, worrying and anxious and just irritable? Do we want that? No, of course not. It might be an autopilot thing, though. So, what do you intend to carry into the new year as part of who you truly are? And you're committing to being more of. Whether it's hard, whether it's easy, you are going to stay, maybe it's just more faithful or more grateful. I think that's a great one to choose. And then this answer is going to guide whatever comes next, whatever your goals or plans are going to be. Don't make them without doing this first. I don't want you to step into this new year with a long list of things to get busy with, right? One of my goals is to create more white space in my day. I really want to be intentional about what I focus on and where I spend my time so that I have more time to be playful and enjoy and just not have something scheduled in every single minute of the day. We're really good at filling up the time that the kids are at school, aren't we? So, as we step into this new year, don't rush past your story. There is so much wisdom in it. And yes, you have grown. I hope if you've done this exercise live with me here, that you can already sense that. And if you didn't have time to finish it, obviously I couldn't give you all the time on the episode or would be sitting here for an hour. Um, just pause, go back, listen to it, pause after each question, take a little time to reflect and write. You could do this in 15 minutes if you really wanted to, or you could do this in an hour and really take your time. But don't skip it. You want to see the evidence of God's faithfulness on your life, even if it showed up in, especially if it showed up in ways that you weren't expecting. Gratitude will guide you. It's going to shape what you pursue in this new year. And it will continue reminding you that God not only has been with you every step of the way, but He's going to continue being with you every step of the way. That is my message for you today. So, I hope you enjoyed this. I would love to know how this exercise goes for you. I really, really would love to hear from you. So after you do it, shoot me a DM and let me know how it went for you. And if you found this exercise helpful, please share this episode with your friends. And if you share it on social media, tag me at the Teresa. I'm sorry. Yes, I just forgot my handle, the Teresa Todd. So that I can see it and I can share it too. This is how we spread these messages. They don't spread on their own. We have to share the love. And I really think this is a powerful exercise that every person should do. So please go ahead, share it with the person that comes to your mind right now and share with me how it goes. I'd love to hear about it. And that's it today, guys. Don't forget to be following the Bad Mom Show if you're not already. Please be subscribed so that you get the new episodes. They drop every single Wednesday. And if you'd like to leave a review, I would appreciate you so much for that too. So I will see you next time. And I'm looking forward to this new year. It's going to be a good one. All right. See you next week.